my name is Anita. I'm a grade 11 senior currently studying at White Oak Secondary School in Oakville, Canada. Thank you all for coming, and I really appreciate all the time and effort everyone has put into making this event possible. Although artificial intelligence has been a widely debated topic in the recent years due to its exponential rate of improvement, we living in our fast-paced lives rarely have any chance to truly settle down and think critically about how it has actually influenced our society, either positively or negatively. However, Joyce has really provided every one of us an incredible opportunity to contemplate and investigate more in depth into this subject, to listen to other people's ideas, and also brings me a chance to share my opinion regarding the inequitable distribution of AI resources, how it is making the rich richer and the poor poorer. The question, is AI ever a thing that can be reached by everyone in the world, has been wandering in my head throughout the process of my research. I feel like this problem is neglected by so many people, as I found most of the articles online are discussing how AI improves the quality of life in various disciplines of studies, or about how it is almost surpassing human intelligence, rather than mentioning this fundamental matter. Although those arguments are worthy of debate, I cannot help but ponder how AI could continue to increase the gap between rich and poor if it is consistently ignored, and if there's any way that I can use my own way and voice to call as much attention to my concern. So I chose to create an art piece relating to this topic, as people always say that art has no boundaries. It is the best way that I can think of to make my ideas easily understood and spread among all age groups and ethnicities. So the drawing generally emphasizes the two contrasting ends of artificial intelligence, which on one side is the colorful world where the social elites are working and improving along with these technology in disciplines of business, biology, data analytics, and medicine. Whereas on the other end is the pale ruins filled with desperation and misery, as the lower class can never reach the standard of obtaining these cutting-edge devices. The elevator on the top right corner is the further demonstration of the upper class of people, indicating them keep progressing upwards to supremacy with the complement of these tools. These appliances not only provide them with shortcuts of making more money, but also increase their wages as the dominance of AI in the economy induces greater demand in their work. And these together undoubtedly make their lives even more prosperous. On the other end of the spectrum, the low-skilled and uneducated people whose abilities are limited to their grassroots jobs will see their living collapse into the ruins, just like the painting. The problem is far beyond the fact that they cannot get engaged with these technology to make profit from them. But according to the World Bank, most of their jobs could be substituted by automation in an estimated 20 years. The girl in the center is the representation of this group, who wants to reach a more advanced society but is incapable of and rejected. And the falling person on the left is also an indication of these people continue to drop to a lower status as they no longer have any position in the society, in contrast to the rising elevator on the top. Using my piece of art in this meaningful way, I really want to create as much impact on the viewers, more so on a global level, to tell them that the enlarging gap between the two classes caused by artificial intelligence is happening. Even if it is not what can be solved by short term, but it's still important for all of us as a whole to start to find a way out of this cycle. For instance, developing replacement jobs or lowering the threshold of obtaining AI. There will be one day that we can share the benefits brought by artificial intelligence together. Thank you all again for listening to my presentation, and it's also amazing to hear from other contestants about their inspiring perspectives of AI and the future of humankind. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita, for that excellent presentation. Your first question will come to you from Professor Slutta.
Okay, hi, Anita. I loved your art.
Thank you.
I'm sure it can be published somewhere. Probably already thought about that.
My honor.
Very evocative. It tells the story. My question has to do with whether this is a worry, a potential reality or a guaranteed reality. And parts of your statement, your recorded statement, got me a little worried that you're convinced this is a guaranteed reality, and I'm not sure it is. For example, like I absolutely believe the rich will get richer. That's always going to happen. Let's just take that as a statement of fact, right? We're going to get our cream off the top. all of us one percenters, and I'll include all of us that are here today in that. But history has shown, and there's data to show this, that as the technology in the world has progressed, the poor have not gotten poorer, they have also gotten richer, not just not as fast. If you look at China, for example, they sustained 15% growth across the board for like 15 or 20 years. I mean, it's amazing what's been happening in China, in India, in Africa. And I know that the gap and the sort of broadening gap is definitely a concern, but I'm wondering if you could talk about how AI could help these developing the developing South. I think there are two different kind of groups of concern. There's the groups in our countries who are disadvantaged, who indeed may lose their jobs and may be automated out of their jobs and may have a real struggle to find anything besides government assistance, right? That's an issue. But there's also the developing South, which is, you know, the majority of the population of the earth is sort of is benefiting from some of our technologies and some of our ways of distributing knowledge and resources. Can you maybe talk a little bit about how these technologies could help, if not shorten the gap between the rich and the poor, at least bring the poor along for some of the benefits?
Yes, like just I didn't mention the thing, like I'm never saying that artificial intelligence is a bad thing. Like the general trend of the world is like everyone is going to become richer. It's just like the pace, how the richer is becoming richer in a faster pace than the people in the working class and the lower class. Because basically just like to talk about the younger and the older, some of the older people are not so used to getting along with those artificial intelligence. And so they are like proceeding in a slower pace than the younger person. So than the younger people, and also the working class who are low educated and low skilled, they are not really like so used to get engaged with these technologies, just like what I have mentioned in my presentation. And of course, everyone is actually, I cannot say that everyone, but most of the people are actually benefited from artificial intelligence. It's just how we use it. For example, because the rich people are always developing technology, like the new devices, they're all about like how to benefit themselves, because people are always selfish, and they just want to benefit themselves from developing those technology. But they need to separate, like they need to divide a little bit of their profits brought by artificial intelligence to help those poor. For example, improving their level standard of education and get them actually got a chance to get involved with these high tech, with these education standards. For example, we are doing the online courses right now, all of these stuff. Of course, artificial intelligence would have been bringing everyone to a higher level. It's just depending on the pace, like how we are balancing out the development and the new inventions of all the other devices that would have come up in the future.
Okay, so you mentioned education and access, and I think economy is another one where there's new opportunities for commerce that are opening up. And I really want us all to remember that these technologies, you know, they may benefit the rich, but they will be a promising way of handling some of the inequities in society as well.
It's never too late.
Never too late, especially with you guys.
Okay, great. Thank you, Professor, for that question and that answer. And now your second question, Anita, will come to you from Professor Chen.
Yeah, hi, Anita. I really like your art, and I think it shows us the very classic destructive effect of the creation. That is, whenever you have a new creation, you actually destroy the old ones. It's some kind of a replacement, a certain kind of a evolution, but it's sometimes brutal. Okay, and so my question was actually quite similar to Jim. Now I want to probably change my question a little bit. Maybe it is a little bit, a little bit more difficult. Like for example, what do you think is the major difference between this new phenomenon of this destructive creation like AI with the traditional kind of a destructive creation, like just like for example the innovation of the steam machines or the innovation of the computers. Those are so-called the industrial revolution, and they bring up those kind of inequality problems, and the richer become richer, poorer become poorer, and all of this kind of questions still exist until today when we are talking about AI. So what's new here? Can you just give me some kind of idea?
So basically your question is I'm mentioning how the new technology compared to the older ones, just like the steam machines and all of those stuff, and the intelligences basically from the modern society. Is it like the question?
What's the characteristics of this one, of this kind of a revolution?
Okay, so it's basically people are advancing their technology like in a higher level right now. Like the reason why it's called artificial intelligence is because some of them are actually intelligent compared to those machines. They're just like the working, just help you to work. But nowadays, some of the people like the techno scientists are actually inventing those technologies that are like robots. Some like trying to get more information into their brain, like not really the brains, but actually they have some sort of intelligence in them. And the problem is that we need to use them in an ethical way. Like the ones from the older ages, they're just helping people to work. But the modern ones, the newer ones, they're more likely to, if you use it in an unethical way, like an unethical way, it might actually bring to some devastating results. For example, just like what I have mentioned, some of them might surpass human intelligence and also actually influence the security of our information and the balance of the social status between the rich and poor and all of those stuff. And because the advancement and development is becoming faster and faster, so it is like what we all need to be aware of, to use it in an ethical way and actually divide out a little bit of time to slow down the pace of our lives, slow down the pace of the development, and to actually think about how we should balance out the usage and the invention of these devices.